What's your name?
Jenny.
Welcome to hell, Jenny.
La 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 la. That's cool. La 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 la. That's trash. La 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 la. That's cool. La 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 la. That's trash. That's trash.
Hello and welcome to That's Cool, That's Trash, the podcast where we watch a psychotronic movie online, then get together on Skype to break down the crazy. I'm Matt Howell, and I'm joined today by regular guest Jacob Balcom. Hi, Jacob.
Hi.
And Jacob's cousin, Seth Guerin. Hi, Seth.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're on.
Me too. It's exciting. Very exciting.
So can you tell the people who are listening a little bit about who you are, like particularly if you want to talk about what you do, that's great, but we're really interested in what your relationship is with these kinds of movies.
Well, I'm a big movie fan, and I'm involved in, making video for a living, advertising, but video production, film production, that kind of thing. Been doing that for a long time. I honestly don't spend as much time in the That's Cool, That's Trash region of the cinematic universe, but I enjoy slumming. Yeah, in many ways, actually. That's a pretty good window into me, if you want to know. That could be the name of my autobiography. I like slumming.
What's your, just offhand, top of your head, favorite bad movie?
Ooh, my favorite bad movie. I think my favorite bad movie, well, this is potentially controversial, but the thing that springs to mind immediately is Return to Savage Island, which is, well, it depends on what you mean. It's a really terrible movie. It's possibly the best softcore I've ever seen in my life.
I know what you're talking about.
Maybe not acceptable. There was
mid-90s.
Yeah, 2000. There was Savage Island, and then there was Return to Savage Island. And Return to Savage Island is really sort of a masterpiece of the genre.
Like Godfather 2, it's better than the first.
It's way better than the first. Yeah, it's one of the rare sequels that really outdoes the first.
And in my opinion, Empire Strikes Back, but that's controversial as well.
Well, that's a go-to. A lot of people talk about Aliens over Alien, but two completely different movies. So.
I don't agree with that one. I have plenty of friends who feel that way, and I think it's they're very different genres.
Yeah, it's two completely different movies. You know what I just saw, and I'm sorry to diverge.
Go.
Another sequel that I think really outdoes the original is A Few Dollars More.
Oh.
Yeah, For a Few Dollars More, I think is better than A Fistful of Dollars. Although I haven't seen Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I haven't seen The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, so it might just sort of keep going. I know Good and Bad, the Ugly is like the pinnacle of that trilogy.
Gold standard.
Yeah.
So is The Man with No Name, I thought he was more of a conceptual character than an actual character. Are those truly sequels? I thought they all kind of stood alone in their own world. Am I right?
I think of it as a sequel because it's this Clint Eastwood playing the same character sort of in the three movies are always grouped together, so I think of it as a sequel.
Okay. That's fair.
He's the man with no name, so it's hard to know. Is he the same guy? Is he a different guy? Who knows? What's his name? We don't know.
Yeah. How many of those was that a trilogy that he had no name?
Yeah.
Because like
it was the
Pale
thing.
Rider and stuff, that was the early 80s anyway. That was totally.
Yeah, that was all different stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we watched I love spaghetti western, and I love the really bad ones. Some like the psychedelic ones where they just don't give a shit about chronological, anachronistic stuff like that. Like people wearing paisley shirts and just wah guitar through the whole thing. I love those ones.
Yeah.
But we just watched a Pansat western or a lumpia western last episode from Philippines. 2'9" guy named Wing Wing.
Oh yeah, I saw that come up. I haven't listened to the episode.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I liked it. I watched the whole movie.
You did?
Yeah, Alicia and I thought it was hilarious.
Oddly enough, I warmed to it the second time through. I wasn't that into it the first time. So it opens up like a fine wine the more you let it sit. Okay, so that's enough of that stuff.
Yep.
Tonight, we are talking about a film from a filmmaker that I had never heard of until like a week ago, just nosing around. Oh, I know where it was. It was Bleeding Skull. I'm a huge fan of the website Bleeding Skull. They find the most bizarre, bananas, out of control movies. So this film director is, I forgot his name, Michael J. Murphy. And he was born in 1951 and he expired in 2015. And he was he's English, British. And he produced quite a bit of movies, but most of those were unknown completely until recently, thanks to the internet.
Okay.
So he had some stuff on VHS. There's a couple things like Invitation to Hell. He did tons of genres. He had a couple peplum films. There's a really bizarre looking Atlantis movie from the late 70s. Some horror movies, some kind of like almost UK giallo movies. I mean, he was all over the map. But he was active up until, his last film was The Return of Alan Strange, 2016. So
Whoa.
He was very prolific. He did like over 30 films. Most of them were shot on 16. I believe this one, the film we're watching tonight, Death Run, which was called Mutant City and other releases, is that's from 1987, and that was shot on Super 8.
Wow. So I need to pause here and just let everyone know that they're currently vacuuming outside my office. So if you hear that, it should be over soon.
I hear it.
Yeah.
I like how you're like, I'll just do the show in my office because I wouldn't go home and have my kids yelling and stuff.
Yeah, it'll be so much quieter here. Anyways, the movie Atlantis stars several of the same people that are in Death Run.
Oh, he has a stable?
Oh. It turns out, yeah.
Like Hal Hartley. So he's kind of an interesting dude. There's a few, like I said, he was virtually unknown for most of his life. And then after he died, he had one of his producing partners. They had their film company together. They started Merlin, which is Murlyn. Their two names fused together. And they started a channel on YouTube, and they just pretty much dumped this guy's entire filmography onto there. And it's bananas. Like, there is like 3 of everything. Like, there's a 4:3 ratio, 16:9 of this. There's one dubbed into Spanish. Like, this guy, he pulled out all the stops when he did these movies. So he was really passionate about filmmaking. And I'm kind of excited about him. What was your first impression of this movie, Jacob?
Wow, first impression. Well, I actually really liked the intro. I didn't know where it was going to go. I thought it was, I don't know. I really liked the look of it right off. I liked the Super 8, but still done fairly well. Definitely low budget, but there were some decent shots in the intro. And Seth, what did you think?
My first impressions of the movie were that, could definitely see what they were trying to do. There's kind of a very Mad Maxian kind of vibe going on. But for a terrible movie, surprisingly not terrible. Yeah. Really. Yeah. Terribly not terrible. Something.
That's something. I agree with you. It was very ambitious.
Yeah, very ambitious.
And we will dig into some of those details as we get into it. Mm-hmm. I do not normally do this on the show because I don't like the people that are rabid about spoilers. But if you have any interest in watching this movie, I'm going to tell you before we move on to the second half, because there's a couple things that genuinely surprised me. And if you want to see this, I don't want to spoil it. So I will, before we get into that, I will say we're going to start spoiling stuff. Okay? Okay.
All right.
So, Seth, give me like a general, like I usually ask somebody to do like a elevator pitch, kind of like, Wikipedia, just 3-sentence, 4-sentence, whatever, paragraph. What is this movie about?
Well, the hero of the movie, Paul, and his girlfriend are placed in suspended animation by Paul's mother, a scientist, on the verge of or immediate aftermath of a nuclear apocalypse of some kind. We're not
Eve
quite
of
sure.
destruction, I think.
Eve of destruction. And they wake up 25 years later. They are apprehended by some humans, like normal humans who are following this sort of cult-like leader, the Messiah. And they are beset by mutants who are unclean humans who have been infected by, radiation disease. And Paul and his girlfriend team up with another couple and sort of fight their way through the apocalyptic wasteland.
Good. Nicely done.
Thank you.
So when we said ambitious, listening to your description, I have a visual in my head of what this looks like and feels like cinematically.
Mm-hmm.
And I love about this movie that it was 7 notches down in every aspect.
Yes.
Right? Everything was just like the small backyard version of what you just said.
Oh yeah.
So, for instance, if you're going to have your sinister Messiah approach his people and his city that he is the ruler of, you would want to get as many people as possible. You would think there'd be about 500 in a very small
big
production.
crowd, like just get people in there.
Yeah.
They're chanting Messiah, Messiah, and it's like 12 people.
Yeah, it's definitely 12 people.
Yeah. So, I'm going to play a little clip of that because I was impressed by that. It was funny.
Messiah, 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 Messiah.
So I've literally had more people cheering chug, chug, chug when I was doing a keg stand at a party than that. I'm not fucking kidding.
Yeah, no, it's a really pathetic. You look out and it's like, boy, this guy is really scraping by in terms of a cult leader.
Yeah.
But now going back to the do you really think Mad Max was a big influence on this? Is that where he's going?
It sure. See, I mean, the Road Warrior maybe more than Mad Max, but I think in a lot of ways. I mean, there's a lot of those like motorcycle car chases. Although they happen at like a third of the speed of anything that happens.
It's the slowest motorcycle chase ever.
I was going to say a 17th of the pace.
Yeah. And the sort of the headdress, costumey things, and the fight your way through the gauntlet kind of thing. I found a lot of Road Warrior type influence in there.
Yes, I think you're correct. I think particularly the premise of the film is very inspired by The Road Warrior. I think that he kind of, as he wrote it, kind of went back to his own things. I think he's got some horror tropes and stuff that he likes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you guys want to kind of go through this, but we can just talk about stuff that I noticed right away. I noticed there was no location audio.
No.
Right.
So when Paul and Jenny wake up from their cryo chambers and they realize it's 25 years in the future, Brexit is here, we're fucked, and they start going up the stairs, he's wearing sneakers or trainers, and you can hear clop, 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 like coconut horse hooves.
Yeah.
And that is a recurring theme where at one point I wondered, are they supposed to be satyrs or centaurs?
Yeah, it actually gets worse as the movie goes on.
It does.
Yeah.
So
that's literally the second note I made was like the Foley of the footsteps. The dubbed in sound of the footsteps it's almost its own character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it, like Jacob said, I think it does. It waxes. It doesn't wane.
Well, it is. It does kind of come and go. Like it'll go away for a while, and then all of a sudden, like it's all the more noticeable because it's just this weird, loud, super inappropriate sound.
Because it's sneakers on concrete.
Yeah, or the car that screeches through the mud puddle on the like dirt road.
Yeah, that's classic.
Going from like 7 miles an hour to 0.
Yeah, I definitely went through some weird internal monologues about like when they shoot without sound, they overdo the sound to make it seem like a real movie, and it makes it seem like not a real movie. I just kind of kept tripping around that circle of like, it's so weird.
You're
let's-
absolutely right.
Let's
Yeah.
listen to the clogs a little bit. I mean, the sneakers. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sneakers on a spiral staircase.
Yeah.
Brave Sir Robin.
Well, and at some point, they recorded that and then they put it in there and then they listened back and they went, yeah, good. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
it
Good.
sounds
That's
good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the Foley guy was really all about it too. Like,
It
what
was
this
super
needs?
exciting.
I know they're standing in some trees and shrubs, but this needs some footfalls.
It's like, I got 2 coconuts here.
You know how much I spend on these 2 coconuts? So another thing that I noticed right away, and I figured you guys would because you're both film fans, and Seth, you're involved in video production and all. This dude, especially thinking that he's shooting on actual film stock, it's not some terrible early VHS, shot on video. This dude has coverage coming out the ass. Everything was shot from 3 or 4 different setups. Did you notice that, Seth? It was tripping me out.
And now that you mention it, I do. I was, and I guess it's related. I was a little distracted by the sort of the jump cut is a generous term, like just the abrupt editing style where you're just like hard cuts into like crazy stuff. But it is kind of the same scene from another angle, so I didn't think about it as coverage. But you're right, and I don't know how.
Yes. Yeah, I might be using coverage generously, but like I also noticed that in one of the first like fight scenes, there was actual choreography because there was moves they did and they were shot from different angles. And like you're saying, there were some jump cuts and they weren't very fluid edits, but
Yeah.
I was impressed by that.
Well, you bring up another point that I'd like to address because possibly, in my opinion, the biggest reason to watch this movie is the insane fight choreography.
Yeah.
The fight choreography throughout this whole thing. Now, there's a lot of fights that happen and climaxing in the death run, as it were, at the end. And
Oh, that's where that comes from.
Yeah. They say it twice, the death run.
Correct.
Really reminded me of Chalmskin, like from The Simpsons,
right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Seth. That was
No. But every single fight, including the fights as Paul and then his, the other guy named Hero, sort of the main 2 guys,
The man with no
antagonists, the man with no name,
Yeah.
are training for the fight and going through the sort of the training montage. All of the fighting in the movie looks like the fake training they're doing for more fights in the movie. It's like super slow. Everything's really slow and super deliberate. And it's just, there's a murderous band of bloodthirsty cult members coming after this guy with machetes or spears or whatever. And it's sort of like if you gave a 90-year-old a machete and they kind of take a swing and then kind of fall over and then they're dead. It's just like the end of the fight. Or I'm going to take one swing. Like the fight choreography it's really something to behold.
Yes.
I mean, and you're right. They spent a lot of time on it. I mean, this is clearly something that they invested in, and it's so laughably horrible that it's enjoyable. It's really, I mean, it's remarkable.
So, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was very taken with the fight choreography. That's all. It was a big thing for me.
So you've touched on another thing that I noted. I had questions. Not that it matters. I don't care. But I questioned Michael J. Murphy's sexual orientation. Because there was... Sorry, Jacob.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple fleeting scenes of female nudity that were so quick and careless and pedestrian and banal that they almost didn't happen. Like at one point, I forgot the name of the blonde gal, but she's jumping out of a... Barbara?
Yeah, Barbara. Yeah, Barbara.
So she's jumping out of like the car or something like that, and her boob is fully hanging out of her like cut off sweater. Normally something that Russ Meyer or someone would dwell on and make a lot of, make hay out of. This guy, like, it barely happens.
Yeah. Couldn't care less.
Yet the training montage was very lovingly attentive to the physique of these two guys.
Yes.
Indeed.
And I don't know if that's isotonic, isometric. I don't know what the hell that is, but that thing where you're using each other as a jungle gym thing and working out, that was crazy.
But you're right. It was filmed and shot. It was just so tender the way they did it. The training sequence was shot with love.
It really was. It really was. And the Messiah, he's a sort of a pansexual dude. There's tension there. He's got his right hand sort of lackey is
Sly.
Another guy. Yeah, Sly, right? Another guy. Although he's not picky, he'll obviously spend the night with just about anyone or anything. And perhaps you noticed, lick its face quite generously.
Oh, man. That part was rough. It was really rough.
We should probably give the Messiah a little bit of airtime here. Let him kind of talk for himself. So I think here he is so Paul and Jenny have been captured by the band of vagabonds at from the beginning, and they're taken to the city, and they're separated, and Jenny is taken to the Messiah, and this is, I believe, is their meeting.
Did you come to the city alone?
No.
Oh, you do speak. Now answer me, or I'll have your tongue removed. Who did you come with?
A friend. My boyfriend.
Boyfriend? How quaint. And is your boyfriend clean also?
I don't know what you mean.
Clean? You must know if he is clean. He's not mutated by contamination. Does not carry disease with those nasty telltale scars and scabs. As you are clean, my child.
Can someone do me a solid and describe what the Messiah looks like physically so people at home can visualize?
Oof. Kind of like a greasy Nazi stormtrooper. He's got his kind of Nazi regalia on.
Yep.
He really enjoys listening to 78s.
Mm-hmm.
French especially. And he's just, are we going to get to the reveal on him?
Oh yeah, we can totally do that.
Okay, so he is mutated, even though he says it's a condition that wasn't caused by any radiation, but I don't know. There's no way to verify that. So basically, he has a mutated hand that kind of has 3 claw-like fingers on it.
Which is amazing.
It is amazing.
Yes. It's sort of reptilian-ish or something.
Yeah. It's like the little It's Alive hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
He has little nice leather gloves made to go with his Nazi gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the 80s, so he's required as a bad guy to have his hair slicked back.
Yep.
It's legal. Legal requirement.
It's a federal thing. It's not a state law.
Yeah, so I was wrestling with the sexuality thing because, this is almost like the coding, make the villain not hetero, at least. But then,
not fully,
But then he turned around and seemed to really love the heroes' bodies, so I wasn't sure how to read the Messiah other than, I don't know, maybe pansexual is bad?
No, I was going with pansexual. Yeah, that was my take on it. Yeah, kind of whatever comes along. It's about power, Matt. It's not about sex. It's about power, I think, with the Messiah, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we talk for a minute about this? I think this sort of ties in terms of the director. But so in the beginning, Paul and Jenny, they wake up from their thing and they go camping. They wander for a day or two, and we next find them. They're waking up in their little tent that they've had waiting for them, when they come out of suspended animation. Paul gets up to go out and take a leak. And that's when he's apprehended by these cult members, these humans, not the mutants, but the cult members. And there's a fight scene in which he is ostensibly freeballing. Like, he's not wearing pants or underwear. He's got a kind of long shirt on. You don't see anything, but it's sort of suggested. And then, like, this whole extended fight scene happens. And then they run away from the mutants in bare feet and still freeballing.
Yes.
And then they, like, get caught by the cult people and get thrown in the back of a car. And, like, this whole entire time, I'm pretty sure Paul has no pants on whatsoever. Like, he's just pant free.
Yep.
And then at a certain point, maybe in the car or something, like, he gets to sort of the encampment and now he suddenly has some underwear on. So I'm not sure where that came from. But there's just, like, a really long time he spent with no bottoms on whatsoever. Like, nothing.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Like, a lot of motion that would have been extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If you weren't wearing anything down there.
Well, that's why it was so carefully choreographed, because you don't want to
Right.
you don't want to pull up, taint.
Well, that was the scene with the product placement too.
Yeah.
The one
The Coke.
which I love that the post-apocalyptic Cockney bikers, they loved women, but they love Coke so much more.
Yeah.
That can of cola, and we're like, oh my god.
Forget raping this woman.
Yeah.
There's a Coca-Cola.
I was struggling with the fact that his mom is a scientist and made some type of care packages for them, survival gear, and Coke was something that they had to carry around with them, not water or,
No.
something Brondo. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it saved Jenny, so she was right.
Well, for a little while, anyways.
For a little while.
Jenny has a rough go of it in Death Run. Jenny has a rough go of it.
Yeah,
She
we're gonna get
really
there.
does.
We'll get there in just a minute, but
Yeah. Also, just to close that out, I noticed that when they got to the camp, the ravenous, rapey gang members were kind enough to bring their clothes. They're like, "Oh, and here are your clothes." Really thoughtful.
And I also like that while Coke is very rare and sought after, they had to show that the Messiah had Diet Pepsi, like, just at hand.
Right.
So he's like a man of means.
In fact, at one point, Sly says, "It's sugar-free."
Yeah, sugar-free.
And he's like, oh, well, of course then.
Yes. And speaking of, consumables, an enormous amount of weed. Like, somehow the Messiah just smoked. I mean, I assumed it was weed or some sort of weed
Was it?
substitute. Oh, it was something. I mean, it was rolled as if it were joints.
Yes.
He seemed to smoke it constantly for the first half of the movie.
Okay, I just assumed, I thought the same thing at first. And then I thought, well, maybe it's, it's 25 years. Maybe they went through the pre-rolled manufactured cigarettes. And now they're just on the loose tobacco.
Could be.
Yeah.
Just my theory.
Yeah, it's possible.
I would like to talk, before we move on to some of the spoiler stuff, a little bit about the city. I'm going to air quote the city.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this setting?
The junkyard?
Is
The
it?
abandoned junkyard that they've turned into Mutant City?
Yeah, another thing that smacked of $0 and a favor owed kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
hey, you told me we could shoot in that like junkyard. It was junkyard or like a scrapyard for like vehicles at one point. It was just stuff like that, right?
Yeah, mostly. There was a certain point where, like, there were a couple of what looked like kind of collapsed buildings, like small brick buildings that were kind of crumbled to the ground.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a nice touch. It was like, wow, where do you find that? Like, somewhere in the English countryside is some old dilapidated town or something.
Yeah, it's England.
Yeah.
World War
I guess,
II,
yeah.
bombing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I was very amused by a lot of the setting was obviously just local places that were interesting to look at and could suggest a post-nuclear wasteland. Although it wasn't much of a wasteland. I don't know how long nuclear winter lasts, but that place looked pretty okay.
Less than 25 years. Less than 25 years.
Another thing that impressed me was in the beginning when Paul and Jenny are being brought to the city. We do get to see some of the unfortunates from the radiation fallout. Jacob, talk about what the mutants look like in this movie. I was very fond of them.
They were really, really nice, weren't they? They're kind of, they had bandage rags and carried spears. I don't know. What did you think of the makeup? I thought the makeup was pretty good.
So I was super impressed by the pulsating
oh, that's right.
things that they had on them.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
Well, it was like bubbling skin, kind of little air pumpy things. But yeah, it was like all over their face. I think a fair amount of budget went to the makeup for the mutants.
Yeah.
Whatever budget there was, kind of went towards that, because it was actually pretty elaborate.
Yeah.
All things considered. The one thing that I was wondering about the mutants when I kept watching though is like, they never really seemed to pose any significant threat other than just kind of being there. Like,
no.
They didn't. They just, if they saw you, they'd sort of try to kill you in slow motion.
Yeah.
And,
no, they're basically slee stacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
My God, they are.
That's pretty much it. That's
That's
good
great.
analogy. Yeah. Just like, oh no, they're coming for me.
Yeah. Like
Very slowly.
When they escape from the city, Paul and Jenny and Hero and Debbie?
Barbara.
No, Barbara. Damn it. Her real
Debbie
name's
was
Debbie.
the actress's name.
Yeah,
Debbie was the
sorry.
actress.
One of their diversions is to open the pen full of mutants, and again,
Which is why do you have that?
But okay, well, have you seen The Walking Dead? Because people aren't very smart.
All right.
No.
But I love that, like, because again, on paper, open up the door and the mutants spill out. But it's like, okay, George Romero, Dawn of the Dead. I'm seeing this in my mind. But this is like just taking a gunny sack full of kittens and just be like, there, you got to get all of them. Go! They're just more distracting, really, than dangerous.
Yeah, they just kind of amble out and.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, we've been kind of just talking around stuff, but we've got kind of narratively to the part where they escape, and this is the second half of the film. This is where some spoilers are going to come up. If you're interested in watching this, might want to pause it, come back. We'll wait. We will wait 69 minutes and 55 seconds.
This movie is mercifully short.
Yes,
At
it
an
is.
hour and 9 minutes, it's very easy to digest.
Speaking of, one thing that I always intend to talk about in the show, but I usually forget, and I actually wrote down some notes this time. What was your tap out time? So tap out time is when you're watching it, you're like, I'm going to be on the show, I got to watch this to talk about the show or the movie, and then you're watching, and then you're like, all right, how much more of there is this? Did that happen? And if so, at what time?
I think for me, it happened at about the 45-minute mark, and I looked to see how much was left, and I was like, oh, there's hardly anything left. This is great. No, it was the exact perfect length.
Yeah, 45 minutes was for me too. It was like, all right, I'm going to step away from this for a little while and come back. That's kind of, we're getting into the second half. It's sort of the end of the escape before they kind of make the turn to going back. So we'll talk about that.
Yes. Okay, so they've all escaped, and in a car that went a brisk 3-4 miles per hour.
I think it made it up to about 12 at one point. Yeah, and it ran over some people and killed them at 12 miles an hour.
Well, and we have to clarify that Jenny gets shot by the Messiah with the tiniest crossbow you've ever seen.
Oh, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Barbie crossbow.
Yeah. So this
Pretty
is another bad thing that happens to Jenny.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's the Charlie Brown of this whole thing. She's got
She is.
Charlie Brown karma.
It's a very dark Charlie Brown, very macabre.
So I also love that, she's holding this wound in her, by her shoulder chest.
Yeah.
And they're driving for a while, and Barbara looks back and says, if she loses any more blood, she's going to bleed out. And there's like 2 trickles going down, not even past her nipples.
Oh, I know. The movie has a very even hand with gore, really, overall. For what it could have been,
Yeah.
It's quite tasteful as far as the gore is involved.
Yeah.
There's not
about
nearly as
that.
much blood. Yeah, it could be a budget thing.
So about that, they abandon the vehicle. I forgot why. They or
Run
where
out
they're
of
going to be
gas.
found?
Yeah,
or...
they run out of gas.
Oh, they're
Run
out
out
of
of gas.
they're out of petrol.
Petrol.
So they run into a group of mutants. They meet a pregnant lady who is a rebel. She asks if they're rebels. She's says she was raped by the Messiah, and she says there's other rebels that they can join up with and find
She's
sanctuary.
pregnant. We should point out she's pregnant.
I did
Yep.
say that, didn't I?
Oh, you said
thought
she
I-
was raped, but I don't. I did. Maybe
Oh,
you
I thought I
she
said
was raped.
pregnant
Sorry.
lady at the
Maybe you
beginning.
did.
Anywho, so a lady with half of a face, I guess Harvina Dent, takes care of Jenny, and Jenny's resting in a stable. It looks like an old stable on hay.
Mm-hmm.
And Hero and Barbara are going to go back to move the car so that they can't be found by the Messiah's people.
Right.
Put it
Yes.
off the road and stash it in the bushes.
Right.
And that is when... Barbara stays behind. She is hooked up with Hero, but Hero goes without her. And that's when Barbara makes a terrifying discovery.
Well, they're sitting down to a nice meal. Harvina Dent is chopping vegetables and stirring a pot of stew and handing out food, and everyone's sort of eating by the campfire. And I think Barbara goes to get Jenny to have her come and get some food, check on her, right? See how she's doing, kind of. And pulls back the blanket, and
it's just Jenny's head.
And it's like a blanket stuffed with hay to make it look like her body is there.
Jenny is dinner.
That's when they realize they're eating Jenny.
And so Paul is told, Barbara runs out and alerts them, and Paul spits it out and starts vomiting profusely.
For a long time.
Yes.
For a long time.
I love that he's actually fighting the cannibals and he's just vomiting on them.
He just keeps vomiting.
He shoves Harvina Dent's head into the stew pot. And he's puking on her back.
Yeah.
It's like Family
Every
Guy.
movie makes, like, he pukes for a while, and then he goes and, like, fights somebody else and pukes on them. It's sort of a puke on command thing. I don't know. It's very impressive. It goes on for a really long time.
Yeah. I like that because this was a out of left field thing to me. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
No, I didn't either.
Was totally shocked. And then the vomiting just seemed like like what I had seen the first 40 minutes. I did not expect a vomiting, like Stewie Griffith vomiting on everything scene.
It was a gift. It was a gift for us.
It was a gift.
Yes.
You've made it this far. Thank you.
Yeah, right. It's important to point out, I think, that the pregnant gal who found them and brought them back, there's a tiny bit of foreshadowing right before Barbara discovers that Jenny has been slaughtered and is the one who's being eaten. You see her, like, sort of look disgustingly at the plate of food and sort of dump it on the ground. Like she doesn't eat.
Yeah.
And then you find out the thing and that whole thing. So pregnant gal who brought them in is, in theory, not a cannibal, as far as we can tell.
Okay, good point. I
Yeah, I mean,
didn't connect those two dots, but that's a
It
logical.
shows up later. I mean, she's kind of a thread there a little bit, the pregnant lady. So
Yes.
she comes back.
It's
later.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was exciting to me. Another thing that I really liked that showed that this was British and not a U.S. film is that once they beat the cannibals and they're going to move on and get away, Paul actually weeps.
He does.
Like
He
in an
does.
American film, a guy that just ate his girlfriend, spat her out, vomited her up, and then beat up the cannibals that fed her to him would have this steely resolve, right? He would just move on, grab a gun, and just become this, even if he didn't know how to do anything, he would become this, Bruce Willis type of character.
yeah.
And this guy actually has emotions and he actually expresses them. I was impressed by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is Hero's claim to fame? Why is he such a big deal in this movie up to this point?
Well, I mean, he's a legend because he was the only person to actually survive the titular death run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's pretty tough. And he's without a shirt for most of the movie.
He's a very fit young man.
Yes. He looks like Guile from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And he has a perfect haircut. I kept tripping out. It's like, this is 25 years in the future. Society has crumbled, and he has a perfect, like, number 2 clipper, like, shave all around his head, not one hair out of place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I would say another thing on that same note, Barbara the character Barbara, like
Fabulous hair.
perfect makeup, incredible hair, lit very well. Like she was incredibly well lit in many scenes in this movie. Like anytime it was kind of just her face, it was like, you know, she's very pretty and like really well lit, totally made up. Hair was perfect. Same thing. 25 years in the future, society has crumbled. Where is she getting a crimper, and where is she plugging that thing in? Because
she's perfectly ratted
every time, every scene.
Yeah.
Unless she's outside, and then she keeps flipping her hair. It's every single.
At one point, when she collects all the females and throws them spears and says, "Join me, rise up," you know, she pulls the helmet off that was her disguise to get through the city to the slaves, and there's like hair standing up like alfalfa in the middle, and then Michael J. Murphy's like, "Fuck that," and there's a cutaway, and he goes to a different shot, and her hair's perfect.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? I love that. I don't want to dwell on this too much because we talked about it a little bit, but the training sequence to me was a thing of great joy.
Yeah.
And it was a great joy for Michael J. Murphy. I think we hung out there for a little bit longer than I thought we would. It was like a 10-minute, literally a 10-minute sequence. Yeah. Which we could have done in our efficient American, film.
But I mean,
90 seconds tops.
Yeah, right.
90
tops.
seconds.
And the music was, not Americanized for that until the end. Like it starts off with kind of a tripping acoustic, sort of gentle. We're starting our training.
No, it was a love theme.
It's kind of a love theme.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. And not until the end did it sort of kick into sort of this weird heavy metal sort of thing that would have been expected. It was, I touched on this earlier. Again, the fight choreography in this film was really quite something. The training sequence was sort of like if one of us as like 11-year-old boys and our other like best 11-year-old buddy in the world when we were that age, like went out in a field and just said, let's pretend we're going to be in an action movie. Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's literally what they're doing out there.
No,
like,
I had that
big karate chops.
Yes. I had the exact same thought. I was like, in 6th grade, this is going to come up when we talk about the actual run. In 6th grade, I did this shit.
Yeah.
Like I would get
I was in a movie.
Yeah, I would get the jujitsu book from the library, and then me and my friend would be trying to, do martial arts on each other. It's very charming. But
sweet.
Paul, no, is that his name? Paul?
Hero? No, Paul.
Paul wants to go back. He blames the Messiah for all of this, for Jenny's death included, and he wants to go back and get vengeance. And so the hero says, "There's a way you can go back, but you have to allow yourself to get caught and go through the death run and get close enough to the Messiah to take him out. And to do that, you have to train." And I have a clip of that little rousing speech I'd like to play.
We've got to leave.
No, she was right. The only way is to kill the Messiah.
How can the three of us do that, Paul?
You know the run, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
First, you have to know how to fight, how to cheat. Play them at their own game. They'll taunt you and try to break you down, but surprise will be on our side. When you are prepared for this, allow yourself to be captured and leave the rest to us.
Nice. So this is the, get the stormtrooper thing, get onto the Death Star, right? That whole part of the film.
Yeah.
You can look at your watch and be like, okay, so there's exactly, one quarter of the film left, right?
Yep.
Which in this case is like 9 minutes.
Yeah. And so then we move from that nice, gentle music into this music. What did you, who would you say this sounds like? Because I was like, it sounds like Sub-Sabbath, but it doesn't. Like, it's not good enough to be Sub-Sabbath.
I was going to say Dio or maybe Judas Priest.
Judas Priest is a very good reference point. So is Dio. You're right. Yeah. Let's hear it. I was into that.
Yeah.
So this is the point where they're what are some of the things they're doing? Like I mentioned that they're doing a thing where like you put your legs around over your friend's shoulders and you're doing like massive crunches, like pulling yourself up.
Right,
Yep.
Hero's standing up. Paul's got his knees over his shoulders doing crunches, like straight up. Is this, maybe they're past this, but they put the, one would be kneeling, putting his arm out, and then the other guy would like run and jump over his arm and do a somersault.
Kneeling, right, from a kneeling position.
Kneeling, from a kneeling position.
I didn't know quite how that came in. Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter. But I also like that there's the they're doing not
Rocky
curls,
III
but,
style,
like, with logs.
Right, presses with the logs, like arm presses,
God, it was amazing. So they're wearing jean shorts, a hint of like baby oil on their torsos. Like you were saying, there was some really weird. Maybe you guys know how they got this effect. There's I don't know if it's through like cheesecloth or what. How if he somehow got the iris to like. There's this ethereal, super exposed but soft, weird thing going on to where like at one point there's like a starburst ray of white light coming off of Paul's shirt in the last scene of the movie, where it's like, you know what I mean? Like you would expect that off of like chrome, off of like a classic car, and it's like his T-shirt.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. They got lucky with the lens flares, or they just try to plan the light time of day. It's kind of overexpose it a little. But yeah, it's not without skill. It's without any budget and not an enormous amount of skill, but definitely there's some earnestness here for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could hear J.J. Abrams fapping through the whole.
Yeah.
I've ever seen. Okay, so we're in the final act, really here.
I do. Before we get on to that, there was the sort of a brief interlude between Hero and Barbara. Hero confesses his love for Barbara and tries to get it on. She doesn't really want to do it. She feels guilty about her, I don't know, her old boyfriend or something. I'm not sure, but she would have not. I'm not sure. But the thing that I did notice, and it sort of fits into the theme, was Hero opens the scene wearing like a mesh half shirt, which he then takes off. He's like, let me take off this Kleenex that I'm wearing. It's like barely a shirt, and he takes it off, and I enjoyed that moment. I just thought, why even have him in the shirt in the first, like, what is even the, I don't know why that even happened.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. That was my next point.
Okay.
So you're not familiar with those, clearly?
I'm familiar with them. I've seen them before. It was on so briefly, and it was like a half shirt, and then he took it off. I couldn't help but notice. I
just call those Right Said Fred shirts.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my point, was like, I associate these entirely with British things.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Right. No,
like,
you're not wrong.
I immediately, like, I've seen them, like, they are usually, not to be PC, but wife beaters. They're like the UK wife beater, and they're, like you were saying, they're like fishnet. A fishnet wife beater undershirt. And so when I see that, the first place I ever saw one and noted it, I'm sure I saw one on PBS on something, Faulty Towers or something when I was a kid. But the first time I saw it and noted it was National Lampoon's European Vacation, when they're in London and they're checking into that gross hotel. The desk clerk or whatever he is, the guy, the filthy, just greasy, rude guy. He's wearing like a olive colored one of those, and I remember thinking how weird that was.
Yeah. Well, British thing, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. So Hero rocked that though. He wore it well.
He wore it real well, and he took it off real well. And then Barbara was like putting on one fishnet stocking and got it like halfway on, and he took off his mesh shirt and then took off the half mesh stocking she put on. It was a romance in the post-apocalypse is different. It's different than it is now.
It's hard. Once toothpaste is gone, it's a whole different game. Okay, so Jacob, I need you to describe what Death Run is to me. And again, this is another one of those things. Everything in this film is like you read the script and you're like, I can see this.
Yeah.
I've seen Running Man. I can imagine what this is like.
Yep.
But what
Yeah,
is it
so-
in reality in Michael
I
J.
mean,
Murphy?
our expectations, my expectations were high. I was
Yes.
like, oh, this death run is going to be insane.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's at least like through the town or, whatever.
yeah, so basically, it's like a steel cable that you are handcuffed to. And is it electrified? Is that why the
Yes.
generator? So it's electrified.
Yes, there's a Jenny
At
attached.
certain places, I think. Just certain
Yes.
Yeah.
places.
And then it's just kind of set up through the forest, and mutants slowly attack you, and other kind of the cult members try and attack you. And it was real letdown, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's sort of like a ground level zip line.
Yeah.
Like kind of
Yes.
from a ramp through into the woods for, I don't know, a couple hundred yards or something,
Yeah.
and back.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just the mutants at 1/3 speed come out and take a 90-year-old swing at you with a machete, and because he's trained so much,
Yeah.
he's able to conquer really quite easily. Yeah, the actual death run, like, Hero, you survived the death run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to
No, and-
see who failed that.
Yeah. No shit.
Right.
I mean, it was such a boring death run until Hero comes back. He
Right.
rises from the jungle like Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now. Then just starts killing people. That made it a lot better.
And that was totally to me like in Big Trouble in Little China, one of the jokes, right, is that Jack is completely incompetent and ineffective, and his friend is actually the one that does everything as the hero, and he's
Yep.
just kind of the guy who has the bluster.
Mhm.
It's kind of like what Paul was like, but he doesn't have any bluster. He's just a schmuck, and Hero's like behind him, like like you're completely oblivious, but you almost got eaten by 3 mutants. But whatever, I just took
see,
their heads off.
See, I could never take Paul seriously because he just looks like a grown-up version of the kid from HR Puff and Stuff.
Oh my god!
Like,
Yes.
even sounds like it too. It's just like, "Hello, sir."
Yeah,
So true.
Drugachusetts.
Yeah. So all I could think of was the altered states of Drugachusetts. But anyhow, back to the death run.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's hard to really talk about it because it was literally a dude handcuffed to a cable that runs down a ramp
Yeah.
through a wooded, grassy field with some trees. He turns around a tree, and then you have to come back.
Yeah,
Yes.
it seemed that way.
That is the run. Are there any other obstacles that I'm forgetting besides
Well,
mutants and cult guys?
At some certain point, there was the guy who was so Paul and Hero, like, Paul unhandcuffs Hero with a machete somehow. Like, getting handcuffs off with a machete is...
He actually picked it. I
He like
noticed
picks
that
the
last
hand- yeah,
night
with the machete.
with the tip.
It's not a precision instrument, but somehow he manages to do it. And then they handcuff one of the cult members to the cable, and he's running around like pleading for mercy, like, guys, it's me, don't kill me. And he's getting all freaked out, even though he's essentially jogging through the woods and there's no one around. But then somehow he trips that platform thing that falls down. There's like
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
platform that kind of falls on him, and it looks like the kind of thing where, as you watch it, you see it fall and you go, yeah, that would probably hurt if that kind of fell on me. And it somehow like stabbed him to death or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It crushed him. He died. A painful death. It was a pretty dramatic death scene. So there was that. There was the falling platform.
Yeah. That was a good death, at least based on the scream.
Yeah, he was invested.
Yeah.
But other than and then there were some mutants also involved on the death run, not the cult members, but
Yeah.
the mutants were normally the ones that you had to keep penned up because I don't know how they talked the mutants into just doing the death run. I'm not sure the logic there.
So I think you're supposed to kind of think it's like Walking Dead, where they're like on a chain and they're just kind of like leash, like it's just a hazard.
Gotcha.
Essentially, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a deterrent.
Right.
Yeah. So Paul was released. Another dude is put on as a decoy
Yep.
to finish the run, so Paul can get closer to the Messiah. And the big finale. We didn't talk about Jenny's head, but Jenny's head was not impressive.
No.
And I'm pretty lenient on severed heads in horror movies because I like all budgets and all sizes, but that was not a good severed head.
No.
Jacob, what happens to the Messiah between Paul and Messiah?
Well, first the harem that Barbara has armed finds the Messiah. They all stab him with their gigantic spears, kind of slowly, and then Paul comes over and delivers the killing blow.
Yes,
he turns him into a man.
And the spears, the spears seemed like a Greek tragedy, like some kind of, bacchanalian whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it just reminded me of some kind of Greek myth thing of all the women killing that guy, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, I can see that. And then Paul comes over and kind of like, in a fit of rage, chops off the Messiah's head.
Yep.
Speaking of heads, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's at this point that I noticed that, early on, Paul can't kill anybody, right? He's supposed to kill somebody, and he was like, if you're going to survive, you're going to have to learn to kill somebody. And then as they escape the cannibals, he kills somebody, and it's like the first time's always the hardest. By the end of this movie, Paul has really developed a thirst for blood.
Yes.
Like, he really has gotten comfortable.
And I noted, at that point I had that same thought, and I thought this is almost kind of like Lord of the Rings or something. I mean, Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Flies. Like they kind of just go full savage, and it's just them running around. And particularly Paul is the one who has been broken, right? And gone to his primal self.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that was communicated as well as it was intended to, but I made the effort to pick it up.
Right.
Because he cried. Is that him breaking? Is that the end of Gentle Paul?
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, that's the turning point.
Yeah.
But he gives a nice speech after he kills the Messiah. Suddenly he's a leader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's, he definitely. And so he proposes a utopia. We don't have to do it the way the Messiah does.
That's right. That's
the
right.
killing will stop.
We can build houses and grow crops.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Matt, you mentioned this just a minute ago, but I'd like to know your opinion of the Messiah's severed head.
Also terrible.
It was really bad. I think the Messiah's was worse.
It was worse. And I thought when Paul picked it up and raised it up to the people, I thought it was just he cut his face off or something like Hannibal Lecter. But then you see it on the ground with blood coming out of the mouth, and it's supposed to be the whole head. So it was really, really poorly done. Like it looked like you would just put clay on your friend's face and then just be like that's the head.
That's it.
There you go.
So we flash forward for our epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul is doing what he said. He's thatching a roof. They're restarting. They're like the Adam and Eve of this thing, which we never talked about, that fact that in so many of these films, people always allude to Adam and Eve and preserving the future with complete disregard for genetics.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like his mom, who's a scientist, was literally suggesting you two will survive this apocalypse, this Holocaust, she said, and start the world again. And then your kids will fuck each other, and then their kids will fuck each other.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll have, enough good genes to actually not die on birth or have their lungs on the outside of their body or...
Yeah.
It's a quintessential paradox, really. It's been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, which one of you wants to give us the movie's stinger?
Jake, I think you should give it to us.
Okay, so the thread that Seth had talked about earlier of the pregnant woman, she shows up again at their newly built village and society.
And also, sorry, before we get to this reveal, the big end climax, I want to point out that in the new Utopia, everyone has like beautiful sundresses. Like there's a complete wardrobe change.
That was literally the first order of business on his checklist was make sundresses.
We got to get some better clothes. I don't mean to diverge, but I will say, like, prior to that, all of the women, it occurred to me that the wardrobe choices for the women were essentially all based on Pat Benatar, Love is a Battlefield music video.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the men were mostly the outsiders with a little bit of Mad Max thrown in there.
A little bit.
Or a little bit of WrestleMania, maybe. Like kind of Mad Max.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. But a lot of outsiders. A lot of like ripped up jeans and jean vests with collars turned up and white T-shirts. But then when they get to Utopia, it's hippie sundresses as far as the day is long.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, sorry. Pregnant lady shows up.
So she shows up with her baby, who's now born, and she wants to join their society. She wants to be there with them, which they, of course, allow her to do. And the last scene of the movie is a breastfeeding scene, which is par for the course with this movie, I think. Just something you would not expect.
Weirdly,
and
yeah.
it's kind of random and shows up. But as she's breastfeeding her child, the big reveal is his hand comes up, and oh, it's the Messiah's hand with the crazy 3-clawed thing. So, no, the Messiah will live on in this new mutant baby.
The baby has the Messiah hand, and so
evil still exists.
Perhaps the evil comes along with the claw, right?
Maybe if they just cut off the claw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to mention about this before we kind of move on to the wrap-up kind of stuff? The final judgment?
And I think we covered pretty much everything. There was one note I made, and I don't know if you have this. I wouldn't expect you to, Matt, but it's early on when they're camping. They find that letter that Paul's mom has written to them.
Yeah, I have that.
It's like, who is she writing this letter to exactly? Halfway through, I'm like, wait, who are we talking to now?
Yeah, I had the exact same question. Let's listen here. This is a exposition theater, right? The heavy lifting right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's from my mother.
My name is Dr. Eileen Saunders. I work at the National Scientific Research Center. I have been experimenting with new forms of suspended animation connected with our space program. If you are not familiar with the history of our planet, a nuclear war of devastating proportions is now destroying our civilization. Using the facilities here, I have risked the lives of my son and his girlfriend by suspending them for as long as will prove possible. Whereas man is so intent on destroying life, there is hope of a new generation in the future world. I pray that Paul and Jenny survive, and it is you who are now reading this letter. If so, my love to you, and I hope the world you find is a better place than it is now.
So she just switches gears at the very end.
She totally. I kind of missed that the first time through. So she does say, "If it's you reading it," they're actually. It's not quite as weird, but yeah, it's a big switch because it's like, well, they were adults, so they understand like the history of Earth, and they know you're a scientist. Like he knows what you did for a living,
floating out in space.
Right, exactly. A picture of Da Vinci's,
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like, who was supposed to be reading this in the end of the world? Like, and I felt like she was like the protective mother too. Like, if you see my son, don't pull his knickers up into an atomic wedgie. He's very fragile and simple.
Well, and if someone else did find that letter, now that we're talking about it, like, what on earth are they going to get out of it? Like, oh, okay, this woman did, but if Paul and Jenny aren't there and someone just randomly finds the letter, it's like, okay, thanks, lady.
A diversion.
Yeah, how those experiments go then?
I'm gonna go back to looking for Coca-Cola. Thanks for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if that's I can't believe you questioned if I had a clip or not. Come on.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought it might be kind of obscure, but you got it right there.
I've got way more. Okay, let's move on to final judgment here. So, Seth, tell me if this is cool or if this is trash, and support your position.
I am going to say, being kind of a newbie at this, but I'm going to say that I thought this was cool. And, for a lot of the reasons we talked about, it's a genuinely terrible movie, but they really cared. Like, they really had a vision, and for what they had to work with, they actually stayed pretty true to that vision. And I thought actually some of the solutions that they came up with in terms of like kind of trying to show things or convey things were fairly clever on a low budget. And I found myself looking forward to going back and finishing the movie. It wasn't when I paused. It wasn't a chore. I was like, gosh, I kind of got invested. I wonder what happens here. So my final verdict is that's cool.
Yay. Jacob.
I'm gonna have to agree. In the end, I was just like, yeah, this is cool. I would recommend this. I mean, it's just bad enough. But like Seth said, the guy really cared. I mean, you know, he's an auteur, even in his own mind, I guess. So I think there was enough care and love in this awful, awful movie to make it watchable and enjoyable. So I'm going to say that's cool.
I'm going to join you guys and echo the same sentiment that Michael J. Murphy was passionate about filmmaking. And that's evident in this movie. And I have seen several horror or whatever movies that are shot on Super 8, and I have not hated any of them solely because the passion and the love is evident, right? I mean, like, if this homemade gore effects, whatever, zombie movie, somebody shot a 90-minute zombie movie over 3 years on Super 8, how do you not respect that? Yeah. It's kind of my position. Yeah. And so this thing was that in spades, and I think it's a great introduction to his work. I urge people to go to Merlin, the channel, and subscribe to it and check out some of these crazy movies he's made since the early 70s. I think it's great that his estate just gave them all away. I think that's so cool. So that is my recommendation. We usually have an antidote if the movie's trash, but this was cool all around, and I think we should go check out some more of his stuff. I'm really interested in him. There's an hour-long documentary, an hour-long interview with him that was considered pretty rare that's up on that same channel. So at some point, I'm going to have to check that out. I want to know who he is as a person because he's kind of mysterious. He didn't like to be in the limelight. He didn't like to go to premieres, like small, local premieres of his movies. He didn't like anything like that. So the fact that there's a few interviews out there is kind of cool. Yeah. So it's a threefer. Hat trick. What is that called?
Hat trick. Yep. Yep. We're hockey fans. Total hockey fans.
So at this point, I always encourage people to do like a snarky Comcast description of the film, which is not required, or a haiku. Anybody do any extra credit?
Jake?
Let's see. What did I have? I had as my TV guide pitch. No, just bring home the point that the kid from HR Puff and Stuff is all grown up and sent to the future with his girlfriend to fight a deformed Nazi.
That's perfect. Yeah, I love it. And based on that, flipping through the guide, I would watch this movie.
Yeah. The only I would maybe just say cannibalism happens. Cannibalism ensues.
Yeah, if you're not sold, throw in the word cannibal. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay, I did haiku. You ready? Messiah rules now. What's in this delicious stew? Paul, we're born to run.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And then this one might get me into legal trouble, but there's another one. Honey, tramps like us. Baby, we were born to run. Apologies, Bruce. Boom.
There's no way I can top any of those. No. There's no way.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Okay, so you guys, I had a great time. I just have a couple announcements to make, and then I'll let you go. So this will be the 85th episode, and I've been recently kind of announcing that the show is ending after 100. So this is kind of the, Ursat's final season coming up here. So I'm scheduling stuff fast and fierce. People are coming out of the woodwork and saying, "Oh, I didn't know you're ending it. I've always wanted to be on the show," or whatever, or always, can you do this movie? So I want to open that up for anybody. If you have a movie that you think we should have done, you're surprised we didn't do on this show during our run, tweet it at us. You can tweet us at @that's_trash and let us know what movies you think we should do. These are filling up fast, so do that sooner rather than later. Also, have you ever thought you'd be a good guest? Why don't you let me know? I'm happy to throw some people on. It'd be nice to have some fresh blood in here. It was great to have Seth on here tonight. That was a blast.
It's fun for me.
So you can tweet me and say, "Hey, why have I never been on here?" And I know some people are waiting for me to contact them. I will contact you soon. I apologize. I've been busy. And what else? So Kyle and Joe and I have been working on a riff of Matango, Attack of the Mushroom People. We got through the first hour, and then we kind of ran out of time. So we're kind of picking away at it. It's a slow thing, but it's going to happen. And we'll give it away like we have our other riffs. So for any donation to any charity, just take a screenshot of that and then tweet it at me and let me know which film you'd like, or if you want this film, and I will send you a link to it and you can download it. We also have all of our other films: Bloody Pit of Horror, Invasion of the Bee Girls, Return of the Swamp, Revenge of the something Swamp Creature.
That's all I need.
And Wild Guitar. So those are all there, and you can get those for any donation to charity. Just tweet me the donation screenshot, and we love to give it away. Okay. Well, you can always find us at that'scoolthat'strash.com as well, and there's always announcements about what's going on and whatever. And like I said, on Twitter at @that's_trash. Seth, Jacob, thank you so much for being on. I had a blast talking about Death Run with you guys.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
All right. For That's Cool, That's Trash, I'm Matt Howell.
I'm Jacob Balcom.
And I'm Seth Guerin.
And you folks out there, stay trashy.
That's trash.
It's garbage, folks. Now kiss my hand. Go on, kiss it, you